Hello my beauties! As mentioned before, makeup brushes are super important and they make your makeup look 10 times better. It's probably one of my favorite beauty inventions of all time, and I think everyone should invest in makeup brushes and everyone should utilize them for everyday makeup. I have done a video about brushes, what they're made from, how to choose the right one, and what brushes for what. So if you haven't already watched that, pause this video, go check it out. I'll also link it down below for your mobile users and then come right back. So now that you're more informed about makeup brushes and how I've mentioned a billion times, makeup brushes are awesome because not only does it save you time, it gives you more of a professional finish, and in most cases it makes things less messy as well. So today I'm going to share with you some tips on how to take care of your brushes so that you can prolong them and reshape them, and also how to store them. So first we have the hair that's made from either synthetic or natural hair, and then we have the barrel section, which is usually made from copper or brass, or maybe sometimes stainless steel. And then we have the handle, which is usually made from wood, but you can also get it in plastic or the same type of metals that you get from the barrel. And it's all adhered together by glue, and sometimes they glue the hairs together and it's secured by the barrel, but then they use glue to glue the barrel onto the handle. So there are a lot of sections in here that is actually secured by the substance that makes everything stay put and is somewhat water resistant, but with time and with more care, you're able to prolong it and make sure that it lasts you a very, very long time. So the very first tip I can give you is to never tap your brushes on the edge of a table or your makeup tray or any type of hard surfaces, as you can also damage the barrel and loosen the glue. The next tip is, obviously, the softer the hair and the more hair you have in a brush, it is actually more difficult to keep its shape, and therefore you actually need to give it extra care and make sure that you reshape them so that not only does it keep its shape, but also it keeps its soft and fluffiness. A lot of the times you use a brush for its shape and not necessarily the hair. So therefore it's quite important, if not very important, to make sure that you get precision with your brushes and make sure everything stays in place. So normally I would suggest to wash your facial brushes, like your foundation, your powders, anything that touches your bare face first. I would suggest you wash that at least once a week. Everything else, like eye brushes, eyebrows, contours, blushes, you can actually maybe stretch it out to about a month. That is my maximum stretch, because it is definitely strongly advised to wash them after each use, but we all know ain't nobody got time for that. So therefore I'm trying to be very lenient and to tell you that at least be diligent once a week with your facial brushes, and be diligent to do it once a month with your eye brushes. And that is why a lot of the times you get makeup artists who have a ton of brushes, because they might want to save it to wash it all together at the end. There are several types of products you can use to wash your brushes, but they're actually categorized into two different things. The first thing I would consider is a spot cleaner. So anything that is clean on the spot that you don't really necessarily need water, and it usually comes in a bottle like this, and it usually contains somewhat alcohol, therefore it allows it to dry quickly. These ones are recommended to use for eye brushes, so in between, I guess, different colors and things like that, they're great for eye and lip brushes. I don't recommend using this on your foundation brushes because you're not really going to get much product out, and at the end of the day, alcohol is not very good for natural bristles, and so you'll find that you'll actually damage the brush a lot more by using this than as opposed to actually washing it completely with soap and water. Instead of spraying the brush cleaner directly onto the brushes, what you do is you spray it onto a tissue and then use the brushes to brush on top of the tissue back and forward to remove the product. That way you're actually limiting the amount of exposure to the alcohol onto the bristles, and obviously avoid any rubbing or spiraling or anything that's too abrasive to the brush, because you want to maintain the shape. Treat it like if you were treating your own hair. Next, I would like to talk about the other types of brush cleaners you can get. You can definitely get liquid type of brush cleaners that are great for mixing in with water, and you can also use solid brush cleaners, things that are made into like a soap type of texture, and then you can also use that which is better for storage because these ones tend to like last a lot longer, and you also be able to wash more things at once. At the same time, you can also get little soaps that are made into, I guess, brush cleaners that are made into soap forms that you can actually lather up and wash like you'll be washing a regular soap. And then the last thing I want to talk about is you can also use facial cleansers or cleansers that you probably no longer want to use on your face or on your body, or even shampoo, things that maybe have expired or things like that. If you'd like me to talk about what products that you could have multi-purpose to use after it's been expired, hit that like buttons to let me know and I will make that video for you. Usually I have cleansers that I've opened and has already expired, or I have cleansers that's too rich for my skin that I can't use or I'm breaking out from it. Then I'll actually use that as a brush cleaner instead, because a lot of the times these cleansers do take off makeup, and what's in the brushes? Makeup. Therefore it would take away all the makeup of the brushes, and it's actually a little bit moisturizing at the same time. So I found that's great to use, and it's also not wasteful because you're not actually throwing out a completely fine cleanser but it's just not working for me, or it has actually expired. And then I like to talk about the different type of washing equipment that I use. I used to use a brush egg, but I realized how small it is, so I've actually upgraded to, this is now my favorite type of washing glove. This is actually by Sigma, and it's called the Spa glove, and I think this is actually one of their new products. I'm so glad that they came up with this because they have the bigger glove, which I found was a little bit difficult to use, but this is so convenient. All you gotta do is you stick your hand in here like that, so it fits your arm perfectly. And then you can not only wash your brushes on this side, but you can also wash your brushes on this side. I definitely like to use my eye brushes and my spoolie brushes over these. And then with these ones are great for foundation, your eye brushes, your contour, your blushes. So usually when I wash my face brushes or my foundation brushes, I get a clear cup and then I fill it up to about 2 to 3 centimeters of water. And then I add the liquid brush cleaner in there and I mix it up. I like to use warm water, not too hot, because hot water can sometimes loosen the glue. So I like to use about like warm to lukewarm water, and then I actually dip my foundation brush into the clear glass for a little bit. And then what I do is I pop on my glove like you would, and then I take it out of the thing, and then I actually dip this in a facial cleanser or another type of soap, and then I rinse it I scrub it really well in here. And I feel like sometimes you need to double cleanse a little bit, so I do dip it back into either my cleanser or my soap and just make sure I get rid of all the foundation, because it does get stuck into the bristles because it is such a dense brush. So there's a lot of hair in there, and also because the length of the brush is fairly long as well, which means that you want to make sure that you get rid of all the foundation that's stuck inside in the middle. And to avoid damaging the brush, try not to be too hard. Try not to rub it up and down like crazy. Do little strokes like that, and make sure that you do longer strokes so you're getting all of the water in and out. So make sure you lather up really well and then squeeze dry. After I squeeze dry all my brushes, I let it sit on a towel, and then I grab another towel or a paper towel and I actually remove any extra moisture from the brushes as much as I can, because I want to make sure that they're super dry to the best of my abilities. Then I let it air dry in either a brush tree, or this one is by Sigma and it holds 44 brushes. This is the new way of, I guess, drying your brushes, because it not only dries your brushes but it shapes them at the same time. So all you do is when you insert the brush, you insert it upwards, and then you actually allow the elastic to make sure the shape of the brush holds that shape. So it's not going to change it in any way, it's not going to let it flare out, and it's great for drying. Brushes like these that are tapered are very easily to flare out because the length of the bristles vary depending on where it's cut or where it stops. So therefore these brushes are highly recommended to be dried and shaped. Another tip is when washing the brushes to make sure that you run the water down towards the brushes and not the other way around, so you're not actually allowing water to go into the barrel and loosen glue. So make sure that you rinse this way as opposed to this way. When you squeeze dry, also make sure you squeeze this way. When we store our brushes, we store them upright like this so we can actually see what type of brush there is, and also it's more hygienic because you're not actually putting your brushes at the end of your, you know, whatever's down there is pretty gross, so you're not doing that. So brushes that you don't use anymore or that you're not constantly using, then instead of let it sitting in your makeup stand and collecting dust, it's best to put a brush guard over it and then have it stored away either in a bag or something like that, which means it's away and it's taken care of and you don't have to worry about the bristles flaring. So this is a great way to store your brushes as opposed to let it just sit there and collect dust, because when you sit the brushes upright for long periods of time, if you don't have it shaped, they do flare out. For example, brushes like this will have bristles on the side that comes out just from not being shaped properly, and that just comes from wear and tear and just general use. Like this brush has been through hell and back. It's like I've actually had this for a very, very long time. But what I'm trying to say is a lot of time you use these brushes just for the shape, so you want to make sure that you keep the shape to the best of your ability. To conclude, the most important thing is to know that to take care of brushes is to be very gentle, treat it like if you were treating your own hair. And number 2 is to try avoid using oils or things that will break down glue and hot water. And last but not least is if you can stop tapping your brushes to get rid of the excess product. I do believe in investing in brushes, especially brushes that you use often, like every day, and make sure you get a really good brush, because sometimes one good brush can make a whole lot of difference. Alright, so that was it. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, leave your comments below and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. And I thought I will just quickly remind you guys to go check out my vlog channel. I started a while ago. It's called Mia, Myself and I know it's pretty lame, but I thought I'd do a little vlog because a lot of you guys ask me what I do in my personal life and what I get up to, what I do for work and things like that. And I thought it was a great way to showcase, I guess, my life without having it to be on this main channel, because I feel like this channel should be everything beauty and health related, and I think my personal life, it could be a little bit separate, so I don't mind sharing with you guys, but it will just be on a completely different channel. So make sure you guys follow me and I will have it linked there and also down below for your mobile users out there. Thank you guys for watching and I will see you in my next video. Bye!